Do you want to start selling on Amazon but can't find a profitable product? In this video, I'll show you exactly what to look for in a product, and I'll also share with you my #1 tool called the I99 Tracking Guide, which I'll give you a free copy of today, and I'll tell you exactly how to do that later in this video. If you're anything like me, you sat there and stared at your screen wondering if this is the product that's going to change your Amazon business forever. And with my 2 first products failing on Amazon, I wanted to find a way to minimize risk and ensure that you can find a winning product. Well, after doing this for month after month and my first 2 products failing on Amazon, I wanted to find a way in product research to minimize risk and take a lot of the guesswork out of it. It seemed like I was just finding a product, throwing it against the wall, seeing if it'd stick, and that was just way too much money to be investing to leave it up to chance, especially after my first 2 products failed. So after doing some research and kind of grinding a little bit, I came up with some must-haves for products to minimize risk and also give me the best chance of finding a winning product on Amazon. I also, later in this video, I'll share what I call the I99 Tracking Method. Now, this is the only way in Amazon that you can actually track real sales. Using Jungle Scout, Helium 10, Viral Launch, those are all just estimates, based on sales ranking of the product on Amazon. Now, this method will show you exactly what a product is selling, and it will just absolutely change your world when it comes to product research and finding if a product really is valuable to source. Now, this way will help you track real product sales, and it'll dramatically increase the chance of you finding a winning product on Amazon. Now let's get into those must-haves. The first thing I like to call this finding a product in the Goldilocks zone. Now, if you're not familiar with the story, it's about this little girl who wanders into the woods, finds a home that 3 bears live in. She finds some soup or porridge sitting on the table. She sits down, she eats the first bowl, it's too hot. She goes to the second bowl, it's too cold. And the third bowl ends up being just right. And that's exactly what we're looking for your product when doing product research. You want to find a product that's just right. Now, the first thing you want to look for when doing product research and trying to find that product in the Goldilocks zone is we got to look at reviews. And that leads us to our first must-have. You want to find a product that does not have over 100+ reviews in that niche. Now, if you're a beginner, this is even more important because this will lower the chance of you going into a field that is too competitive for you. This will help with your learning curve. You walk into a niche that has, a lot of high volume competitors. They've probably been doing this for a long time. They have the jump on you as well. There's too much risk in those fields for beginners where you need to start somewhere a little lower. Yeah, you might not get 10,000 sales a month, but at least you're protecting your investment this way. You don't have to compete as much. It helps with the learning curve. Once you get your first, second, third product on Amazon, you have success with some of these lower volume ones, with competitors and niches that have all under 100 reviews, and you get some confidence, you build your skills up. Then you can start going after some more high volume products and niches, because you'll have the skill sets now to compete. So anything over 100 reviews in certain niches, you're just gonna be overwhelmed with competition, and that's just not what you want. That's one of the biggest things I wish I would have done in the beginning, is not pick a product. It was gonna hit a home run, I wanted to do 30,000, 40,000 a month in sales. I was picking those products. Well, I get into those fields, I'd be on page 7, 8, and I had no idea how to get to page 1, page 2, page 3. Now, some of our best products have under 100 reviews when we started those, a year, 2 years ago, and we've built and grown with Amazon over that time. And I think it's just really important to do this. You're not gonna make life-changing money at first, but this will help protect your first product investment, and it will help you build your skill set to have the tools to go after really competitive niches in the future, and then you can make life-changing money when that happens. And now leading into the second must-have for my product to make sure it's in the Goldilocks zone is that it must have sales between $5,000 to $15,000. Now what this does for you is it assures you, you have the potential to make money every month, but by staying over that 5,000 mark, it will help you assure you're bringing in enough money every month. We're making sure this is worth it. But most importantly, staying below the $15,000 mark. What this does is it helps you, just like the review, lower your risk, not going into such competitive fields, but it also protects you from hijackers and Chinese sellers coming over here and trying to either get on your listing or sell counterfeit products. And this is a super nice, again, as a beginner, just because when you combat those things, it's super overwhelming. It could be hard to get people off your listing, and it's just a headache you don't want at all. If it's up to me, I would always suggest picking a product between $5,000 to $15,000, even if you're a 7-figure seller, because this is going to dramatically lower the work you have to do to keep your product up and running on Amazon. Now also, when it's between that $5,000 and $15,000 mark, not as much competition's in that field adding new products every day. So it gives you a chance to become the number 1, number 2, number 3 guy, get on page 1 with lower reviews. And then as Amazon grows and grows, which the trend shows that it's not gonna stop growing anytime soon. It's still got almost about 50% of America to add as Prime members, plus it's adding countries all over the world it's selling in. This will give you a chance to be that number 1 guy when it's super low competition. And then, as the years goes on, you're gonna see your monthly sales start to increase, and it just puts you in a prime position for the long term. This is a long game. This is not, you can't make money overnight. It's a long play. So you gotta make moves and steps to go that way. That's super important. Actually, it's crazy, guys. Some of our best products have been in this $5,000 to $15,000 range. Actually, our best products with the highest margins, the ones we don't have to run much PPC on, where we don't have to worry about, with other competitors, I've been around the 5,000 mark actually. And it's just because we've gotten a premium product and there's only been like 2 or 3 competitors. And the biggest one has 42 reviews. And then we walk in, put our product down, and then all of a sudden we're already ranked 5 or 4 in this category after getting our first initial sales. And then eventually, just because we have the skill set and we're learning every day and kind of pushing forward, before you know it, we had more reviews than the first guy within the first 4 months, and we're number 1 in that niche. We've watched as month gone by our sales to start to increase with this product, and there's no PPC, like I said, and the margins are 40+%. Those are the products I want hundreds of. It's just because I don't have to worry about it, I don't have to think about it. I'm the number 1 guy in that. So if there's a dramatic spike in search volume or people wanting that product, I'm gonna ride the wave naturally. I don't have to worry about anything. Where on the higher products, I'm page 2 or 3, I'm gonna get kind of left behind if there's any dramatic wave or with the natural growth of Amazon. So I'd rather be the number 1 guy with a lower monthly sales volume instead of being, on page 2 or 3 of a higher volume product. The next step to make sure your product stays in that Goldilocks zone is you want to find a product that has a price point over $15. You do this to make sure you have enough profit margin to work with. The FBA fees, the pick and pack fees, it's a fixed amount. So the lower your price point, the more it's going to eat into your margins. The higher percentage is going to eat into your margin. So picking a product with a higher price point help protect your margin, right? You want to find a product between that 30 to 40 area, just to kind of protect, and assure that, if there's any hidden cost that comes around, you still have money to work with. And also, private label products, sourcing your own products, you want to be in this range. That's why you're doing it. 30 to 40% margins will just make your life so much easier. That way you don't have to worry about selling hundreds of one product at 10%, and you can just sell half that, whatever, 1/4 of that at 30 to 40% and make the same amount. It's so more freeing to have high profit margin products. Also, when you have a lower priced item, there's gonna be a lot more competition in that field because there's a lot of sellers that don't have the capital to start. They want to start with something cheap, so that the only thing they can afford is the products that cost 50 cents or $1. And so you're gonna see all these competitors come into the field because that's the only product they can afford. So by picking a higher priced product, you're making another barrier of entry, right? You're cutting out those people you don't want in the field anyways, because they're just gonna, lower their price until they get the most sales, and you don't want a price war. It's not what you want. You don't want 12-cent margins. It's gross. It's not fun. So you want to kind of stay out of that area where a lot of lower level sellers are at. My personal favorite price point to stay at is between like $15 and $50. $15 is kind of on the lower end, $50 is on the higher end. If you want to keep your costs down for your first product, I suggest being on the $15 to $30 range. Just make sure you have enough margin. $50 mark, you're gonna have less competition up there, but again, your first order is gonna be very scary expensive. If you get 500 units, you could be looking at an order to 8,000 to 10,000 compared to half that or even lower if you're at that $15 to $30 mark. And I've just seen that at that $30 mark or so, that you're gonna find products you can get it for $2 to $3 in China, bring them over, and then sell them for $30+. That's where you really see that 30 to 40% profit margin. $50 mark, you're starting to get into those premium products where you are gonna spend a little more on those products. You can't find them for $2 to $3, because those are just like the simple products that Chinese manufacturers make. Those are gonna have to buy a little more premium complex item. So the margins kind of like stay the same, but the only benefit of being on that higher side is there seems to be a lot more competition because it takes a lot more capital to kind of get up to those ranks. So that's the only reason I'll go above $30, $40 is just to kind of avoid some competition. Otherwise, stay in between that $15 to $30 mark and you'll still hopefully see the same margins. There's gonna be a little more competition because everybody wants to be in that prime spot, but that's where you kind of keep it to that simple product and still keep those margins while keeping your first product order down to minimum, so you don't have to invest so much just in case something did go wrong. So those are the 3 biggest tips I have to stay in the Goldilocks zone and to minimize your risk for your first product. Minimizing risk is obviously huge. Everything's a risk in business, but you want to do everything you can to lower your chances of getting a bad product, a failed product. And you want to do everything you can to increase the chance of finding a winning product. Especially when this is a very time-consuming and cash-heavy business. You want to do everything you can to protect your investment. Now I have 2 very important tips before I move on to the I99 Tracking Method, which will totally change everything for you. But these 2 tips I follow by heart, almost like a must-have. They're not as important, but they're up there. The first one is to stay away from trendy products. Now this is a huge mistake a lot of people make. They don't pick products that are gonna stick and last on Amazon, or AKA a fidget spinner. A little hint of what my first product was. Now the problem with these products are, by the time you find one, it's too late. So much competition is seeing the same thing you are. And so, the 2, 3, 4 months it takes you to source, all the competition it's seeing the same thing that you saw are now entering the market as well. So the problem with all this competition entering the market, at the same time, it's gonna lower your price points. The trend is already starting to die. Even if it's not, there's so much competition that, in there that the price points are starting to lower, margins are getting thin. Eventually the trend does end, and then there's all these sellers stuck in here trying to sell and maybe even a break even trying to get their product out. I only say this because my first 2 products were super trendy. They both failed. I lost over $10,000 plus, and end up having to throw both those products away because there's just no more demand for them anymore. So I just want you to learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. Don't sell trendy products. Sell products that are gonna last, aren't seasonal. Seasonal products are okay, just not maybe for beginners. The issue with seasonal products are, if say it just sells in the summer, right? And you buy 10,000 of those units or 5,000, whatever. What if they don't all sell? You're sitting on 2,000 units for a whole year before you can sell them again because they have no demand besides this time in summer. Same thing with Christmas or holidays, certain holiday items. They're just too much kind of risk. It holds up your cash flow if you order too much inventory. Issues happen too if, say you don't order enough inventory, you kind of miss out, which doesn't feel great. You want to pick products that are all year round, especially at the beginning stages, because you want to sell consistently to kind of free up your cash flow and to kind of build your skills. You know, you want to see money come in regular, you want to do things kind of year-round as well. I'd say the seasonal products are more on the advanced side. So trendy products, stay away from for sure. Seasonal products, I would kind of stay away from as well at first, and just kind of focus on products that sell all year round for you. Another tip people often overlook is be creative in product research. Now, what I mean by this is, you know, there's Jungle Scout, Helium 10, Viral Launch, all these product research web apps that people are using, and they're typing in all the same things, right? The 3 must-haves I've already kind of lined up for you. You know, they're between $5,000 to $15,000 in sales a month, between $15 and $50 or $15 and $30, and then under 100 reviews. Well, if you find any product on there, you know, with that criteria that most people are looking for, most likely someone else has found the same product you have. And the issue is that all these people seeing the same products on those web apps are all entering the field at the same time, and they're all making themselves, you know, they're all failing because of it. They enter the market, you know, with 10 plus more sellers coming in with them, and then everybody just kind of loses. It's a lose-lose kind of situation. You don't want that. You want to find different ways to find product ideas. Now, a little story of, you know, how I started being creative was, you know, I live up here in Denver, a lot of little mountain towns, a lot of little touristy mountain towns, whether I'm backpacking, camping, skiing, whatever. You go to these little mom and pop stores at these, you know, touristy little mountain towns, and there's these little weird shops selling trinkets and whatever it is. And I'd go into these stores and I'd see products in there that I was like, I've never seen this product once in my life. These are products, you know, you can't find on Walmart, Target, mall, whatever. You know, you see this little specialty item for this, you know, certain niche, and it's sub niche down. And, you know, I'd be like, I wonder how those sell on Amazon. And so I'd get my phone out, I'd take little notes on my notes app. And I kept doing this at these little mountain towns, mom and pop stores. And I'd come back to my computer later, look them up on Amazon, and run you know, one of the Chrome extensions to kind of see what the demand is. And it ended up being a great tip. You know, maybe I didn't find the product right away, the winner at the souvenir shop, but it led me down a rabbit hole, you know, of other similar products in that weird little sub niche that are potentially, you know, great products. So I love that way. Just to kind of, you know, look around you, kind of get in the mindset of looking for products wherever you go. So, you know, if you're at your office, right, and you're digging through the office supplies cabinet, and you see these weird things, maybe you see something that you've never seen before, and then, you know, you take a note on your phone, you go back and look at it later, you know, because the chances are if one office has this little niched item, most likely all offices need this. And so there's demand for it right there. Same thing, say you go to a restaurant, start to look at what do they put on the tables? What is the waiter using or waitresses using? You know, just look around you, because chances are if there's someone or, you know, some restaurant using these items, you know, throughout their restaurant, and then most restaurants in the country probably are doing the same thing. So you got, you know, thousands of restaurants buying this one item that you've never seen before. Well, there's demand right there, and then because it's a weird, creative kind of way you found it, most likely no one else has thought of that item. So you kind of get a jump start of kind of finding, you know, a niche that could possibly be a winner. So, long story short, just keep your eyes open everywhere you go. You know, get in that mindset. You know, start taking notes on your phone. You never know. You know, backpacking supplies is another good example. People need light, kind of compactable supplies to put in their backpack because they're hiking 10, 20, 30 miles, and they need to make their backpack as light as possible. So I've seen little compressible, you know, pour over coffee guys. I've seen roll up mattress pads, and I've seen like specialty items that are just made lightweight and built for backpacking. So there's all these little weird niches and stores. You know, REI is a good place to go look there and kind of get product ideas for the outdoor world. Michael's is a great place to go for looking at craft supplies. So just get in that mindset of looking at unique ways of finding product ideas. Maybe, you know, that item you find isn't the winner right away, but at least it would lead you down the rabbit hole of that little sub niche, and it could possibly find you a winner there. Now the 3 must-haves I just went over, and then also those 2 little bonus tips there, these are all things that I do personally when looking at products. Now why they're so great is they've dramatically lowered the chances of me finding a bust for a product. And that's all I was trying to do when I was first doing product research. I wanted to find a way to kind of avoid the losers and minimize my risk, just because the investment's so large, comparatively to other things you could do with that money. I just wanted to do something to make sure that I was giving myself the best chance to find a winning product. And so far so good. I got tons of winning products using these 3 must-haves in the Goldilocks zone. And then those 2 bonus tips definitely not as important the must-haves, but they are still definitely important to your success. Now this last tool, little strategy that I use now that I'm gonna share with you has probably been the most effective and the greatest way that I've been able to use and minimize my risk for finding a dud of a product. It's been the most helpful for that, the most dramatic effect of any of these tips and must-haves. So I'm super excited to share that with you. It's called the I99 Tracking Method. Now, why this method is so cool is because you can actually tell the real sales data from Amazon, unlike Jungle Scout, Viral Launch, Helium 10, that just give you estimates. They use estimates based on sales ranking of the product in that category. This way you can actually tell how many a seller is selling each day, like real data, real sales. Why this is cool is because I've noticed that those estimates, a lot of times they're in the ballpark, but sometimes they're way off. I've sourced products, brought them over, and then I've been on page 1 and I'm not selling anything close to what the Jungle Scout or whatever Chrome extension you're using is saying I'm selling. So it's like, okay, that's way wrong, way off. And now, sales data is probably the biggest thing you don't want to leave to chance, right? So, kind of doing some research, and now I really was like, I'm super serious about this product. I want to see if it's the one. And so I'll use this I99 tracking method, and what I'll do is I'll find the best keyword for that product, right? And just using a keyword research tool, or just kind of, if it's a lemon squeezer, like you can probably assume that lemon squeezer is the best keyword for finding a lemon squeezer. So we search lemon squeezer, right? I want to source this product. All the data says yes. And now I want to start tracking sales. And so what I'll do is I'll search lemon squeezer, take the first like 5 to 10 products, right? I'll add them to my Amazon cart, my personal Amazon cart. And in the back end where you could add more to your cart, right? You're in your Amazon cart. You can click this little drop down button and it'll tell you like how many of this product you want. And it's like 1 through 10, 10 plus. And so you hit this 10 plus and it'll give you this manual little box. And then in this box, you're gonna wanna type in 999. You type in 999 because that's the max amount that the Amazon cart allows you to hold. And so you type this number in, and most of the time, if it's kind of in this $5,000 to $15,000 range, people don't have more than 999 items in the Amazon Fulfillment Center. So Amazon will spit back out at you, sorry, this seller only has 540. And you're like, that's interesting. And so why this I99 tracking tool is great, the guide that I'm gonna share with you too, you'll take it, you'll punch in, okay, this seller today at 3 p.m., the 20th of September or whatever the date is. The next day you'll come back and you'll do the same thing. And what you'll find is the next day, they only have 500 in their cart. And so you're like, oh, so they sold 20 that day, interesting. And you'll do this for like 10 to 15 days or so until you get like a normalized kind of sales trend, or enough to tell what they're doing on a daily average. This is cool because it actually tells you like this person sells this much, right? The top guy is selling 50 a day. The fifth guy is selling 20 a day, or maybe only 2 a day. So then the sales depth as well of that niche. So if you're on page 2 or 3, you can actually expect some sales, whether some niches are top heavy where only the top 3 guys get sales, or some niches are like, you can get sales on page 2 or 3. So it kind of tells you that data as well. So that's the last thing I'll do before proving, a product actually works. And the cool thing is I've written a guide actually to help my VAs kind of do this for me. I don't suggest doing this right away. You definitely want to learn this skill on your own. I definitely did it for the first year or two. We've only done it now just because we're kind of scaling up. And we can kind of afford to bring lots of products on. And so I've written a guide, and I also have a template sheet as well that kind of shows you this, how to work the system. It's got examples in there as well. So that's super cool. That's something I want to share with you guys. If you want this guide, this template, do a couple things for me. Like and subscribe to this video down below. I'll keep putting out content like this and try to help you guys as much as I can. And also click the little link there that goes to my Facebook group in the description. There you can talk to me personally, and also you can download the I99 Tracking Guide, telling you exactly how I taught my VAs how to do it, which if the VAs can learn, you can learn how to do it too. And it's also got the Excel template that I use to track this on a daily. So take into account those must-have guys for your product, doing product research, and also do this I99 tracking method. This is so crucial. This is what's minimized my risk where, I can source 10 products and maybe only one fails now. Instead of it being just a gamble, you throwing a product against the wall hoping it sticks. No, do all these things in the I99 tracking, especially I99 tracking. Minimize your risk, guys. It's a big investment. Do the research, do the work up front, and then everything else will be so much easier down the line. So thanks guys for tuning in. Hope you found this valuable. I'll see you on the next one.